Well, I really did it, guys. I filmed this whole video and realized it wasn't recording. Whatever. So welcome to my first video of the Tita Aigam series. What it stands for basically is things I think about and advice I give myself. So if you have a better name for it, please tell me because I'm not keeping Tita Aigam. Anyway, if you are new here, I mainly post videos about the creative process of projects that I'm pursuing. But sometimes I like to talk a little bit more and I want to give a little more information. So that's what this series is going to be for. But if any of that sounds interesting to you, please like and subscribe because that helps me a ton, especially since this is a newer channel. I totally appreciate it 100%. So today I want to talk about getting started and powering through your creative projects, in any creative project actually. The point of this video isn't necessarily to tell you what to do. These are just things that have helped me and I want to share them with you. Hopefully they help you. And if not, then future me gets to watch this when future me gets discouraged and hopefully gets encouraged. So some of this video is going to overlap a little bit with some of the things I said in my first video, but this definitely goes more in depth and is more focused on these topics. So these are basically just 5 tips to starting a project and really powering through to the finish line. Again, I'm not saying that this is the only way to do it, but we are just sharing what we learned. Let's get started. And with that transition, my number 1 is to start. I know this sounds really obvious, but honestly, it's way more important than people realize. I know we're all worried about failing, but guess what? If you don't start, then you already failed. That wasn't meant to vibe anyone, sorry. But one of the main reasons that I've seen in people and seen in myself is we keep creating conditions for ourselves to meet in order to start. So a lot of people are like, oh, I can't start this project until this happens, or once this happens, then I will start. And that is such a dangerous mentality. It's just creating situations for you to fail already. Maybe that's a little harsh too, but sometimes it does. And it's also just coming up with more and more excuses. Obviously, there are some conditions that we do have to wait for. Like for example, if you're a guitarist and your hand's broken, you can't record guitar on a song that you want to do, right? But I think when we face those conditions, we have to get creative and we have to think of other ways that we can start and prepare for the completion of that project. So for example, if you're a guitarist and your hand's broken, maybe sing out the parts that you want to record later, or, you know, play on your other hand on the piano or something. Whatever's gonna help you get that out and really prepare those sketches and ideas for you to go when you finally have that condition met of, you know, your hand being healed or whatever the condition is. Do not let these conditions prevent you from starting. There's so many ways you can start, even though you do have to get a little more creative in those situations. I had to switch between camera audio and my mic audio. This video is driving me crazy because my microphone stopped recording, but it's okay. We are going through. Anyway, what I want to say about that is that preparation still counts. That still counts as starting. So if you need to also develop your skills a little bit more, take the time of starting the project and really going through with it to learn those things, because your hands-on experience is really going to help you learn a lot more, and you can research things along the way if you need to. Of course, if something really needs time for you to practice and everything and learn a skill, then sure, put that into your schedule and make sure that you are learning those skills. But please don't let that stop you from starting. So my number 2 is discipline, and this one is crazy because that word doesn't always sound that fun. But discipline is going to be your friend in your creative process, because discipline is going to be the thing that gets you through or gets the creativity out of you when inspiration and motivation isn't there. This one was actually really hard for me because usually I like the experience to be magical, but the thing is, it can't always be magical, and if you really want to get things done, you have to have some kind of discipline, and I really have found a big respect for discipline, even though it's kind of against my nature in that sense. So you do need to find that healthy balance between the two. Honestly, talent means nothing if you're not doing. You can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't have your discipline for doing these things, then it doesn't matter. I've also noticed, it just seems this way, I don't know if this is 100%, but it always seems like people are commenting on how, oh, extremely talented this person is and blah, 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 when that talented person is actually just doing things and actually going through with their projects and their goals goals and stuff. And I'm not saying that they didn't have talent to begin with. I'm just saying it is so powerful to follow through. Discipline also just helps you commit and not be flaky. No one likes flaky people, except we're all flaky people a little bit in some ways. But I truly believe that people will respect your determination and your commitment, even if they don't like your art. But we aren't trying to get anyone's approval anyway, are we? So anyway, with discipline, create a schedule or a process that's gonna work for you. It's really hard for me to just say. I guess I could make a video of what I do for myself, but overall, really evaluate yourself, really self-evaluate, and that means the same thing. I don't know why I said it twice. But figure out a process that's going to work for you that you can stick to and power through with. So speaking of power through, that's my number 3, because we all tend to hit a slump somewhere in our process. I wanna share a quote real quick. Say or think what you will about anime, but I've been watching My Hero Academia and it's been extremely encouraging and I've been loving it. But one of the quotes of a character named Mr. Aizawa said, "There's nothing crueler than letting a dream end midway." And that just really stuck with me because it's like, yeah, you started and then you're putting all this effort into it and then you just give up. That is so, and we've all done that at some point and it's just so painful. So these are a few things that I think have kind of helped me through. There's endless things that you could do to help. Please comment below if you could think of more, but these are a couple that I've found to help me. One of these is use a timer or an alarm to help you allot a time to be creative. So I realized that I was getting really anxious and worried when I felt like I had a lot to get done and I was like, I can't spend this time just being creative. I have to do these other things. But instead, I started doing a timer. I don't do this all the time, but during my severe anxiety moments, I would start a timer or set an alarm so I know that that's the time and that's it. And I will be finished at whatever time that was so that I can complete the other things. So even if it is just 5 minutes, that's still huge. If you're having a hard time getting past a certain point, then take yourself out of the zone you've been in and try to simplify your process. If you're in the middle of a really complex part of a project, then really bring it back to the basics. Like for example, if I'm designing something and it's getting a little complex and I just am feeling stumped in something, then sometimes I'll go back and I'll just get a piece of paper, doodle. Sometimes it's not even doodling anything that's related to what I'm doing, but sometimes you need to just do that and really just let yourself not have any pressure and just start from the beginning. And that really helps a light bulb go off in your head sometimes. So I guess in some ways that can kind of help you fall in love with the project again, unless you already hated it. Another way to do that too is to start free flow writing, especially if your project has words like lyrics or you're writing a story or whatever it is. Just start blabbing on a piece of paper or typing it out. I've been doing that actually with some of my videos to just organize my thoughts, and that helps so much. Just get it out there. You might go through this weird trail, but then you might hit something that's like, oh, that was the missing link this whole time. So it's funny because sometimes I get nervous doing that because I feel like I'm just gonna embarrass myself in front of myself or that someone's gonna find my weird writing. But no, seriously though, it can really help a lot. Also related to that, try talking your ideas through to someone else, because sometimes just saying it out loud will really help you and almost force you to put your thoughts into words very clearly, because you have to explain it to someone or you have to almost teach it to someone. You have to know what you're saying or what you're trying to say. I like thinking of it as like therapy for your creative mind. But aside from that, if those things aren't really working for you and you're still just like, ugh, then go take a walk or take a break, take a mental break or take a nap. Sometimes we're so tired or our brain is tired that we need to step away. Yeah, you can force yourself to work through those times, and some people do, but honestly, you're probably gonna work a lot better once you're rested. So that's my opinion. I always need naps. I'm a napping person, so it always helps me do better. Also, another kind of obvious thing, look at examples of people. Try to find people that are kind of doing something similar to you. Don't copy them, of course, but do get inspiration from them or just observe their process. This can really help you piece together what that missing piece is for you and help that light bulb go off in your head. So examples of other people, of other art, huge, that can really give you that inspiration. Everyone is inspired by something. Just go back to that square one again of getting inspired that way. Okay, number 4. This one is probably my shortest point, but I feel like it's one of the most important things, or one of the things that really changed my mentality, and that is make decisions. It sounds so easy. If you ever find yourself in the day, oh my gosh, and you're just like trying to make decisions and you're just exhausted from making decisions, sometimes it's hard. It takes a lot of mental power, but it's so important in the end. A very successful person told my sister this one time, and I've thought about it ever since. It's so important to make a decision, and sometimes making a decision is better than making a right decision, because sometimes there's not a right decision. And especially with the whole creative process and creative fields, everything like that, there's rarely an objective right decision in creativity, so just make one. Like, just throughout your process, just start making decisions. Don't fret over them anymore. Just choose. It sounds so simple to say, but if you really have that mentality, you're like, okay, I gotta make a decision now, and that's it. Just make the decision. That can really help you through. Also, I want to add on to that. One of the biggest decisions you should make is to prioritize your goals and your work. Stop treating them like they're not important. Of course, we all have life going on, and there's so many things that we do have to pay attention to and prioritize, but just try your best to make your goals and your work one of your priorities. Because if you keep treating your goals and your dreams and your creativity or whatever it is as not important, then you're not going to value it, and you're not going to be able to finish or maybe even start. I started actually getting a lot more things done and became more efficient with my time when I decided to prioritize my dreams and my goals. And I stopped worrying about if they were important enough to prioritize or not, because I decided I was going to prioritize them anyway. Again, of course, this can be hard when there's other stuff going on in life, but try to find a way that's realistic for you, and that will help you so much. You have to value them yourself in order to go through with everything. Okay, so number 5, easier said than done, but just finish, okay? Just finish. Don't worry about perfection. Yes, do have a tier of quality that you try to go for to an extent, because quality does matter, but you have to stop at some point. We're rarely going to feel like something is perfect, and that's okay. That's just the reality of things. Also, what we view as perfect might not be someone else's view of perfection. So it's just like perfection doesn't even really exist. So there's no reason to strive for it. Quality does matter. That's great. Figure out your definition of that quality, but don't sweat it if you can't make it perfect in your eyes. If you have a decent sense of quality and you work hard, it's not going to be bad. And if you feel like it isn't perfect, then allow yourself to do something better next time. I might have said this in my first video, I'm not sure, but when I was working with my band and we would write songs, I am a little bit of a perfectionist, so there were times where it was taking me forever to finish stuff, especially lyrics, because I really like lyrics. But 2 of my bandmates would say, we can always write another song. That always stuck in my head, because you could always write another song. You don't have to worry about this one. This isn't going to be your only one, especially if you're pursuing it. If you're working hard, it's not going to be bad. Just finish it. Just finish it, okay? And I promise, if you finish once, if this is your first time ever doing this thing, it's going to be so much easier next time. My first song I ever wrote, yeah, I don't listen to it anymore, and I didn't necessarily like it ever, but the fact that I finished it made every other song after that so much easier to do, because I finally went past that huge stone that I was putting up for myself. So just finish. Just try so hard to finish, and I promise you it will be so much easier the next time. Maybe it's not going to be the easiest thing ever, but it will be so much easier than the first time. Finish. Finish line. Okay, so I guess that's basically it. Those are 5 tips, at least some 5 tips. I'm sure there'll be plenty that I think of later, but overall, if you have other tips too that you like that helps you get through all these things, then please share them below, because I would love to read them, and I'm sure whoever ends up coming across this video would love to see them too. Again, if you like this video, then go ahead and like and subscribe, and if you want to see more of my creative process, then you can follow me along with that too. I'm hoping my next video will be focused more on the process of my single that I'm releasing, so I'm super excited about that. And yeah, I'm excited to see you guys next time too. So until next video, and I will see you then.